talking about jobs, whether you love or hate them, there are some people who just absolutely dislike their boss. So I want you to tell me about a time where your boss made you stay late at work for a stupid reason. Maybe, he made you do something really just beyond your job, or maybe it was something that was so minor that she just said, you know what, can you please do this for me? But there are a bunch of people who have gone viral for hating on their boss because they think his reason for asking them to stay late is a horrible reason. Does anybody want to go first, or you want me to go?
I can go. I think Mikey wants to go first.
No, I can wait. I can wait.
He's breathing heavy.
I can wait. I'm not breathing heavy. What are you talking about?
You know what? I'll go first. It's okay.
Not me
It's
at
okay.
all.
I'll help everybody out. I'm not going to say where I worked, but I really just didn't like my boss
I totally will say where I work. Don't worry. We'll get to that. Save that one for last.
I just didn't like my boss from basically beginning to end. But I remember when I was at a camp, and I was a counselor in training, and back then, when you were a counselor in training, it was not what you thought it was. A counselor in training back then, you would think, oh yeah, you're just going to shadow a counselor and you're going to learn. No, at this place, a C2, like a counselor in training, meant that you were basically a janitor and you got paid $90 every 2 weeks.
Oof. What?
And it
That's
was
slavery.
How many hours did you work?
It was full time. It was like 8 to 5. It was brutal.
You got paid to be a counselor in training. My mom had to pay the
yes,
camp
in the beginning.
CIT.
In the beginning, yes, but at the time, like for you to be a counselor in training, you had to be 15, 16. So it was like borderline, like,
slavery.
It was at the time. But they believed that that's how you build character, is you start a job at a young age.
And get paid absolutely nothing and get
Yes.
slave labor. Yeah.
So I remember, this is when I started really disliking the job, is I remember when, well, first off, I'm too tiny, and they always made certain drinks for throughout the day, and I always had to get on a stepping stool to make the drinks, and nobody would help me because, one, I'm tiny and I can't lift the thing over my head. So there was that issue, and I needed like 4 people to help me. And then they had this one time, they had a meeting after work. And I remember that because you're a janitor, you had to sweep the cafeteria, you had to sweep the gym, you had to sweep everywhere. You even had to clean outside. And I remember they said, well, after the movie time, they had a movie one day, and they said, well, all these kids made a bunch of mess. We're going to have a meeting in the gym, but we're going to have a meeting. Everyone can sit down, but the counselors in training, all 10 of you guys are going to clean up the gym while we have a meeting. And so we had to sweep and pick up stuff, and every 5 seconds someone would be like, you missed a spot. You missed a chip over there. Oh, I think there was a spill. And sometimes they would purposely spill things and drop things to make our jobs harder. And the whole meeting was like, yeah, guys, sorry. Oh, your paycheck's going to be delayed by a few days. So that was what the whole meeting was about. We're hearing some terrible news. I'm cleaning up messes. I hated it. And it just got worse as time went on because I had to stay for a while. But yeah, that was my first job ever, was being a janitor, technically. No bathrooms.
Big
were
guts.
cleaned, but I mean, it was close enough.
Yeah, at least you didn't do the bathrooms, man.
Yeah.
That's gross.
I mean, when you look at applesauce on the floor, I mean, it could really be anything at that point. You don't know what it is.
Yeah.
It could.
Yeah.
It's gross.
Ew.
You don't know. You just don't know.
Who can top that one?
I don't know,
I
man.
think you can.
I don't know if I can.
Yeah.
I might be able to.
Go for it.
Okay. So I'm not going to mention the retail shop that I worked at back in the day, but I started...
Why is no one putting them on blast?
Yeah, put them on blast.
No, I'm good.
They don't even know who you are. It's big corporation.
True. Yeah, no, they don't. But I was started as a cashier, and my entire 2 years I was there was just only listed as a cashier. And I was the only person, because I was there from when the store opened, who followed the rules to the literal T. Like, I did not turn left to make things easy for me. Like, I just went by the book. And I was the person who trained everyone, because I'm the only one who followed the rules to a perfect T.
Right.
Well, the one day, like, I did something to make my life just a slightly bit simpler and it just made my life easier. And on top of that, too, I dyed my hair, like, fashion colors for the first time. And it was not in the rule book. My direct manager had an issue with it and was like, I personally don't like it, so I'm going to add it to the rule book. You need to go change your hair color, and I need you to help stock things in the front. I'm like, excuse me, what? So I ended up being the person, I was the yes person, essentially, that turned into. I was the sock person, I was the cart person, I was the person who got all the bad stuff and like throw it in the garbage. I was everything except like literal janitor.
I don't understand why they made it a rule that they just didn't like your hair just based off of looking at you.
Yeah, like it wasn't even anything crazy. It was like, remember like in 2013 when like the ombre was like a big thing?
Mm-hmm.
It was literally that with like
ombre.
a little bit like
It wasn't even like blue.
it was like ombre and like pink at the end. Like
So
very
what's the
small
issue?
pink tips. I really don't know. And honestly, he was the only manager that gave me such issues because like my other managers who love me, they trained me how to do like front end manager stuff that I should not have been allowed to do. Like I also did customer service. I counted money at the end of the day. Like I was very trusted. So why he had a problem with me, I to this day do not know.
Probably he was jealous of you and your pink tips.
Yeah, he's probably jealous that he didn't have pink tips himself.
Yeah.
Probably.
He probably had like those like
He was probably bald and wished he had hair, and that's why he said, you know what, shave it. I mean, take off the pink tips.
I wish that were the case. He had like, he was probably one of those guys who had like the Justin Timberlake 2000s frosted tips, honestly, like back in the day, because he looks like he had that kind of hair.
Amazing. Amazing. Can anyone top that?
Please do.
No.
Well, you're gonna. Well, you're gonna now, because now I'm putting you on blast, buddy.
On blast.
I really hadn't had a time where they made me stay late. I mean, so at my old job, I worked at, I'm just going to say, Platinum Country Club. So basically, I was the person that was either a waitress or doing snack bar, but they made me do snack bar most of the time. I don't know why. They just said I was good at that job. But anyway, so one time it was absolutely torrential downpour and they didn't take out the trash yet.
Uh-oh.
And everyone's like, I don't want to do it. So then the manager that was there, she was like, fine. If no one takes it out, we're all going to stay here till someone does it.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
and so I was just like, okay, fine. So I went to go get the golf cart in the pouring rain, brought it up close so everyone could put the trash in it. I was like, just do it.
You reminded me of another story.
Really?
Yeah, that happened to me actually during the pandemic. I was at a school because I still work with kids too. And one of my bosses, she was like, well, all the kids have left, but you know what? We're still a little early. So I guess like to make everybody quote unquote wait and waste some time, we're going to shred paper. Everybody grab some paper and start shredding it and start ripping it apart. Make sure you rip out everyone's name. And I'm just sitting here like, are you kidding me? Like, this is what I got to do for 15 minutes before I go home? I got to shred paper?
But afterwards, she's like, okay, who's going to go with Linda? And everyone's just still like, oh, I don't want to go. I don't want to get wet. And I'm like, someone has to come. So then, because I have to have someone actually stand on the garbage thing and throw it in. And I was like, I'm not strong enough to lift myself up and stand on there and then jump back down, grab the garbage, and then go back up again. So they sent everyone. So everyone was on the golf cart trying to sit and stuff. And I was like, you guys have to walk over there. I'm not going to drive everyone. And then everyone was taking their sweet time. And I was like, if you guys want to leave, you have to go faster than this. But everyone ended up getting in trouble except for me. So
that's good.
And they're just making it worse for themselves at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So goodness.
What about you, Aisha?
I used to work at Starbucks, right? We'd get coffee stains everywhere. Mm-hmm. We would get them on the ceiling too.
I thought you were just talking clothing. I'm sorry.
That's what I thought too. I was like,
talent.
I thought it was on your shirt, or maybe you got it on some jewelry.
Yeah.
No, you're talking ceiling.
No, everywhere. We'd have coffee everywhere.
Wow.
And on the ceiling too.
Your new birthmark is just a coffee stain on your neck.
I don't know how. But my manager, she started mopping the ceiling.
What?
I guess you gotta do what you gotta do, man.
Wait.
I have a video of it too. I have to find it.
I'm gonna need a replay on that.
She literally started mopping the ceiling.
Oh my god.
How? Wasn't it
I'm not even
dripping?
lying. I can't believe she does.
The water would just drip back
She
down.
took the mop and she put it up on the ceiling and she mopped the ceiling.
No,
And we were
Starbucks so we can go visit it.
We were open too, and there were customers.
Stop! I was about to ask.
Can you believe that?
No.
If I was a customer, I'd be concerned.
We started mopping the ceiling.
Is this close to here? This Starbucks that you worked
Yeah.
at? No way.
Oh my
Can you
God.
imagine other
Okay,
people
I'm
on
gonna avoid
campus?
that
Bro.
one.
Yeah, seriously.
Bro, I can't believe it.
I'm gonna avoid that Starbucks from now on.
the one by the gas station.
No, it's by
It's okay. We don't need to know exactly where it is.
Yeah,
It's
No, I
fine.
need to know exactly where it is.
It's
Mop on
fine.
ceiling well, no, I don't want
I
that.
mean, it was clean. It was clean.
Uh-huh.
That's unsanitary.
I mean,
Clean.
don't you guys like stay late sometimes and like clean? Like, couldn't you? And then like when there weren't
Yeah.
customers there?
Yeah, that's what
like,
you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I know, right?
She should have gotten fired. But you know, that's a whole other story.
I agree.
Whole other.
Speaking about getting fired.
Oh,
Is that what yours is?
Here we go.
Oh, yeah.
Doing
Oh, yeah.
mopping.
So
I can mop a ceiling now.
you can.
can
Not
say.
these tiles. These that's going to mess these up. But anyway, back in 2004, I worked for Target, and I helped open a Target up. It was the one on Route 110 on Farmingdale, and at the time, that Target was like a flagship store for a new store model that they were applying to all the Targets coming up. So we were open for like a couple of months at this point. I remember I was like in my fall semester of college, and I'm hanging out, working and stuff like that, and my boss is walking around saying, hey, you know, we need some volunteers to stay late because we have some big corporate presidential person coming in tomorrow to look at the store, you know, to like walk around and see what, you know, what we've done with the new plan and stuff like that. So I was like, am I going to get paid? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm down. I'll help out. So I stayed literally until 4 a.m.
Oh my
My
god.
goodness.
Me and my friend, I forget his name.
What?
I forget his name. Me and him.
At
stay
at Target?
At Target. We stay until 4 a.m. doing the most tiny, minute task. When I'm telling you, you know the displays that they have in Target of like the gazebo with the lawn chairs and the
Yeah.
furniture
Yeah.
and all that. We had to print stickers for each item. We're talking about the chairs, the table, the little things on top of it, the little lantern things on top. We had to print labels for every little thing. We were there until 4 a.m. The next day, they came in, and I had work the next day later in the evening. I came in, and I found out that the president, whoever it was, loved it, was great, this, that, the other thing. But then while I clock into work, I get called into the office by loss prevention. Yeah. So whole other thing related to it. So what happens is loss prevention starts asking me about this transaction. Now, about a month before this, it was my brother's birthday. My brother was very much into Lego Bionicles at the time. So I bought him a gift card for Target. And I was like, here's your gift card, here's your birthday present, you know. I forgot how much it was. And I just found out that the new Bionicle set just came out literally after I gave him this card, right? So I said, give me that money back I gave you, and I'm going to go buy you the Bionicle set. You know, I'm going to buy you all the Bionicles. And he was so happy. He's like, yeah, here, take back the money. Now, I go and I tell this whole story because, like, what happens is the cashier who rung me up screwed up the transaction and made the drawer short about $50.
That's a lot of money to be short
It
of.
was. So it was on this cashier's fault, right? So this
Yeah.
cashier screwed up with the whole process, the whole long story. I'm not going to get into it. So he screws up. He's missing money from his drawer. They call me in about asking about it. Now, they don't think I stole any money, but because it was technically my brother's money, I got fired for using my discount on my brother.
You got fired?
I got fired for using my discount for my brother, who they did not consider immediate family.
But you're the one
But you paid for
purchasing it.
I'm the one purchasing it.
So just
Two,
say
it
it's
was
for
my
yourself.
money that I earned with working there.
Yeah, so
and they winded up firing me because I asked the money back because it was technically his money.
You can still sue.
So
Yeah.
they fired me for that. And yeah, I wound up losing my job and having to walk out.
Dude, that's so sad.
Yeah, so-
After you put in all that effort with
Yeah.
like setting up.
You were
And
there
that's
till 4 a.m.
That's
and then
exactly
they
what I was saying.
fired
I was
you?
like, why are you firing me when I was here till 4 a.m. last night? I was literally working. Like, I walked in, my boss had no idea about this, right? And he was so, like, proud of my work. He was so happy that he's like, because at Target, if you don't know, a lot of times they don't have enough shirts to give their employees. So they tell their employees, buy a red shirt and just make sure it has no logos on it, blah, 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 blah. So I had like this plain red t-shirt or whatever working there. And at the time, only people who went above and beyond got a Target shirt. I walk into work that day and they gave me my Target shirt. So I was like, oh, accomplished. I feel great. I earned this. You're fired.
Dude, they like hand it to you and then they go, it's like that SpongeBob meme, Patrick, you're hired. And now you're fired.
Oh. And that's exactly what happened, dude. Like, it
I'm
really
so
was that.
sorry.
So, yeah. So,
Yeah.
yeah, that's why I went to go last because I got fired
That
from mine.
is brutal.
that's
Right?
corporate America, though. I feel like
But the crazy thing is about it is that Target doesn't consider my brother immediate family.
I am so sorry.
But that is.
They only consider your spouse.
But you paid for
immediate
it.
family.
But at the end of the day, your brother wasn't there with you. You're the one who bought it. Like, yeah.
But because I told them the whole story about me giving him the money and me asking for the money back, they're like, "Oh, it's his money."
That's still
But that's not your money.
That's still your money.
It was my money, and that's what I kept telling them, and they wouldn't listen.
Well,
I can't.
Uh-huh.
you know what? At least you're out of that situation, and now you're on to bigger and better.
But I work at Target.
I said him.
You are warned.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
So we're okay. Remember how I
Maybe
said
that's why
like
they have so many regulations now.
Probably.
so you know how I said like how some people hate their boss and some people love their boss?
Yeah.
And I think we've gone through plenty of love and hate in here.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're talking about how this boss at a office type job had made a rule and posted it somewhere inside the office saying here, for every minute you are late, you will be requested to work for 10 minutes after 6 p.m. So, for example, if you arrive at 10:02 a.m., you will have to stay an extra 20 minutes. So instead of you leaving at 6 p.m., you will leave at 6:20.
Yo, kick rocks. Straight up kick
Well, are you still
rocks.
getting paid for that?
No, you're not.
I don't know.
I guarantee you are not.
I genuinely do not know if you would get paid for that.
No, there's no way. There's no way they're paying you for that.
They'd lose money.
Yeah, they lose money. That's a terrible punishment. That's why they wouldn't pay you.
I mean, I feel like the only good punishment to being late is okay.
You lose
just
money.
Yeah, like just you're not getting paid for those 10 minutes. You weren't there. That seems pretty like okay. I won't be late anymore. I need those 10 minutes.
Or to dock the whole hour. No, you're late. There's a
I just feel like whoever came up with this idea is really just sad and needs some help.
Yeah.
Because, like, if you really are needing company that badly that you're going to make people stay for an extra 10 minutes, like, bro, go, like, hire somebody to be your friend at this point.
You are a sad, strange little man.
How do you know he's little?
Oh, you know he's little. You just know. You just know.
He's little, but he has a big ego, it seems.
Not even.
Yeah. Yeah.
He thinks he has a big ego.
I mean, how would you go up to your boss if someone, like, okay, let's say, like, someone did this at your job, right? Your boss did this. How would you confront them about it? I feel like this is such an
I would
awkward...
laugh at them and then go to the Better Business Bureau. That's it. I'm just like, nope, okay.
Me personally, as I was just saying earlier today, is that like if I'm not early, I'm late. So if I actually am late, there is a dire emergency, and if you're gonna punish me for an emergency, you are really off your rocker. I swear.
Kick rocks, man. Simple as that. Kick rocks.
I feel like that if I were to see that, I think I would ask other people and make sure it's legit before I do anything, and then I would say, let's go as a group.
Sorry. My water
See,
bottle.
you know what? That's just the anger from just all of this. It's just coming out from
water
Aisha. I feel like if this was legit, I would go as a group and confront my boss and be like, you would have to take this down because, or we're going to request overtime. And if they deny us overtime, then I would go higher than that. And I would,
HR, man.
I would
Like,
scream.
Yeah.
Sometimes
I would scream to the
HR
roof.
sucks, though.
And that's when you go to the BBB.
Yeah,
Better Business Bureau.
some companies don't even have an HR department.
One time I was
Better
working at
Business
this
Bureau.
job, and this woman was HR and everything else in between. And I'm telling you, it was bad.
HR people are weird.
Sometimes, yeah. She's not right.
Do you?
No, sometimes they can be bitches.
Yeah.
Is this like
Told me in the
a?
office, man.
Is this like a
he's
fact?
A weird guy.
Yeah, it's a fact.
It's a fact.
Yep.
They're weird.
I'm not really like friends with anybody that works in HR.
Honestly, I've never met an HR person who wasn't socially awkward.
She's just kidding.
The Target store that I work at, I was asking them about why do they keep asking people if they want to become team leads and HR, and they're like, oh, because they're in dire need. So they kept on asking. A few weeks ago, they asked me if I wanted to be HR. So I was just like,
If it pays more, sure.
yeah.
I don't know, man. Is it really worth it? I
If
mean,
it pays more, man, yeah, why not?
Is it really worth the stress though?
to be honest
I don't
with
want to
you,
deal with people.
if
exactly.
if I had a boss that put up this note saying that if I'm a minute late, I got to work 10 minutes, then I'd say that goes for you too.
I'd say heck no.
But you rather deal with customers than deal with employees? That's wild, man. That's just wild to me. I'd rather deal with employees than customers all day.
I would deal with employees, but guests I don't like.
Yeah, but HR, you don't have to worry about guests. You have to worry about employees. That's it.
All right, thank God. And yeah, I'm gonna
Going
do
to
that.
HR, baby. Let's do it.
Yeah.
All right, so next week, if you guys are late, you guys are all staying an extra 10 minutes after the show, even if it's not even if the
Jamie,
show's over.
Jamie,
No.
kick rocks.